Senate Minority Leader John Mbadi and Moses Wetangula, respectively. Now, the Federation of Women Lawyers in Kenya has weighed in on President Uhuru Kenyatta's partial cabinet nominations. The executive director of FIDA, Teresa Atieno, spoke to us earlier, and here now are her thoughts.
I must tell you it was the most shocking news that we had, especially after all the efforts that we have done as women in this country. We've been challenged many times to up our game, to get competent women, to get women who can work for the public and this government. And the list is endless of women who can do it. And even the cabinet secretaries that he had in his last cabinet, I doubt whether he would say all the 6 just failed and they didn't deliver. So we are very worried. It was the most horrific news to get. And this is one of the issues that we really want to take up with our president and ask him what message is he passing to the nation. You have your top 9 and you cannot get at least one in the first 9, because I know the argument might be that's not necessarily my top 9, but in your first 9, if you can't even pick one woman, it's worrying. It makes people get worried about the trend. What will happen in the next 11 who are coming? Because, again, that means he set a very high standard for himself that out of the 11, then he has to choose 9 women so that it makes at least a third of his 22. If someone doesn't deliver, then you outrightly say you have been dropped because you did not deliver. Just like you've rightfully said, there are women out of the 6 who did very well. Just the same way as we had men who did very well. And at the same time, we have men who didn't do well and they were retained. So what criteria is the president using? I think we just need to move away from our socialization and our cultural beliefs, because it really has nothing to do with competency or women who are able to work in the public sector. So it is time that our leadership, in this case our president and the deputy president, being able to do what the Constitution requires of them. It is clear that there should be a participation of women. Just like the country you've mentioned, Rwanda, it is in their constitution, and so they are just implementing what is in their constitution. So we also have a very beautiful constitution, one of the best in the world. It's just simple: implement the constitution provisions. And the provisions of gender equality or gender equity are as important as any other provision of the constitution. So we shouldn't have other provisions being implemented, but the gender ones being frustrated. So that's just the simple logic. Women are part of Kenyans. Women form part of voters in this country, and women are part of the citizens of Kenya. They need equal representation. They need to be given space to also serve Kenyans. So my message to them is, first, stick to what the Constitution provides. They had also a manifesto that they made promises to women in this country. So it is time to deliver on those promises. And we are part of Kenyans, and we need to be treated fairly.
Those are thoughts from the FIDA chair lady there, Teresa